Hi everybody, I'm back again. I'm sure you're a delight, I'm sure. Couple things I want to say. And I try to balance things. I try to balance warning you about things, telling you about things I think maybe you might have missed, although everybody else is talking about the same stuff mostly. Telling my thoughts on things from a perspective, from my worldview perspective and that kind of stuff, which if you don't appreciate, there are a lot of other channels for you. But okay, the whole Trump thing that's happening in New York today, okay? I had one big question. Why did President Trump's legal team not demand a change of venue? That is the right of every citizen if they deem that they cannot receive a fair trial in the jurisdiction that they're in. Why did his legal team not request or demand a change of venue? It's the right of every U.S. citizen to request or demand that. He can't get any semblance of fairness in New York, the land of the Bidenites. The truth is, this is nothing more than malicious prosecution. I can't say that fast. Malicious prosecution. Try to say that 3 times fast, or even 1 time fast. It's just malicious prosecution. It's an effort to stop him from being in the White House again. And how do you issue a gag order? Now, they haven't yet done that, but we feel it's coming. A gag order on somebody who's about to campaign. That is election interference, which is the whole point of this whole thing. Plain and simple. Sadly, maybe some who voted for the current pedo liar-in-chief may have had some reasoning process the first time around. But bizarre as that seems to me, considering he's never done anything and he had never worked a day in his life. But you know, sadly, those same people, a lot of those same people would vote for that guy again, which is bizarre, really bizarre considering the peace and prosperity that we experienced under the Trump administration until COVID hit. And blaming that on him is ridiculous. Blaming that on anybody is ridiculous, except for Fauci and the people who unleashed it on us as a weapon. It just amazes me that somebody else would probably vote for that guy if he ran again. He can't even stand up and tie his shoes. He's so old and doddering he can't even travel. He can't utter a coherent sentence even with a teleprompter. And he mumbles every word he has. Even after this administration gleefully hammered nails into this country's coffin for the past 2 years, they vote for him again, which to me, and in my personal opinion, solidifies their status as mental midgets, just like he is. That, so I guess the Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, is actually terminal for some people. And though I could rail all day about the insanity befalling our country right now, the porn and actual sex shows in schools, even elementary and kindergarten, with stamp of approval of school board, men who can't hack it with their own sex in sports teams, invading women's private spaces and sports locker rooms, predatory boys pretending to be girls so they can sexually assault young girls in school bathrooms, which has happened on multiple occasions, the rabid and completely irrational anti-gun lunacy, curtailing of our constitutional rights, our God-given rights. At every turn, the many-tier justice system that we have now, for example, Biden's classified documents found in 5 places, documents he didn't even have a right to have in the first place, having never been president at the time when he obtained those, 5 places. And in fact, documents that it was found that Hunter actually classified documents that he sent to Burisma in Ukraine. And where's the punishment for that? Where's the outrage for that? Crickets. And now Trump's like, oh, he mishandled classified documents. No, he didn't. He handled them just like he should have handled them. Like a former president of the United States who had every right to declassify, had them behind a locked door with 2 locks. They knew where they were negotiating, and all of a sudden they had to make some big deal out of it. It's all by design. But I could rail all day about the sellout of our country, about the Biden crime family and the rhinos to the foreign powers. Right now, digital currency is being rolled out across the pond, and it's coming to our shores sooner than you think. If you don't believe me, you need to check in on that. It's being why it's being done quietly, I'm not sure, because everybody knows it's coming. So why are they being so quiet about what's going on right now? I think it's going to happen sooner than you think, and it's because so they can control every aspect of your life. What you buy and sell, mark of the beast sort of kind of thing. It is not the mark of the beast. No, it is not. But it is the lead-in. It is the conditioning for it. How much you can buy, what you can do with it. My husband watched a video about the digital currency rollout that is supposed to be happening, was supposed to start Monday yesterday. And it said you wouldn't be allowed to leave your digital money in your account more than a certain time period, or it reverts back to the government. And I thought, yikes, how are you supposed to save for big purchases like repairing a roof or buying a car if that's the case? I can't verify that that's true. If that is true, it's frightening. You won't be able to have more than a certain amount. But what if what you need to do requires more than that amount? I don't know how that would even work. But in any case, all of that mess swirling around us now, is insane. And we as citizens don't have any control over any of that. I got notes, my paper brain. I have a paper brain, but I don't leave anything to chance. But all that stuff happening now, we have really absolutely no control over. It's been decided by people with much higher up than us and in darker places than we live. But we need to turn our eye towards self-sufficiency, to having food and water and supplies socked away. I would spend some of the cash that you have now on your survival insurance, also known as food supplies, water, containers to keep said water, and get going now. Yesterday, in fact, we took about $500 and we spent it on beef, pork, bacon, canned meat and tuna, some supplies, and even some extra eggs, because the barred Plymouth Rocks have stopped laying. They're molting again in less than a year, which is odd. They're very old too. They stopped laying. Brandy, the only Brahma of the 3 girls I have left, was laying, and she's gone broody, sort of. She's clucking anyway. She's leading into it. And of course they're about to turn 7, so they're not going to lay very often. Iris is semi-broody. Cricket is still not laying again. And of course the 3 little ones, Dove, Wren, and Phoebe, it's going to be a while before they lay any eggs. So, I have reduced layers at the moment. So I went ahead and got some extra eggs. But you know what, folks, it's going to be a bumpy ride. But let me tell you something. Talking about the problems is one thing. Talking about solutions is something different. We need to think solution-based ideas, not just, oh my God, the sky is falling. But, let me tell you what and you can become very frightened if you think about this all day long, every day, and you watch it going on around you, and you listen to the people spouting the most illogical things on the news. I'm thinking, you can't really think that way. What is wrong with you? Has your brain shut down? What is wrong with you? But they're justifying their actions is what they're doing, and none of that ever usually makes sense. They have to justify what they want to do. But you know what? Actions calm fear. Like I say, don't panic, prepare. Act in your own interest, because the government never will. And, you know, I've said this plenty of times. Never hang your hats and your survival and your future on one man, for sure. Not even the most not even the most boss man you know of. Don't you think Trump is the be-all end-all? Well, you know, he has a lot of good points, but he's just human, and they're shackling him now with this malicious prosecution. He's someone who obeys laws for the most part, that as far as I can tell, and he's following the law. He didn't say, I ain't going up there. Come get me. He could take a plane to anywhere in this country, in the world, and be gone, but he's not, because he wants to stay and fight. He's a fighter. But don't hang your hat and your future on him or anyone else. No one man's gonna rescue you or rescue the country. And I don't think the country's going to be rescued from becoming the Marxist banana republic into which it's now developed. I think now maybe you should start sourcing your local meat, eggs, and animal proteins. Check out your local area. See who actually can provide you with that in the future. Especially now, because if the grid goes down, you're not going to be able to search those people out. You need to know who they are now in your local area. You've got to find that now. Remember now, the current Marxists, they want you to be unhealthy. They want you eating bugs and twigs. They don't want you eating good quality, proper human diet, animal-based protein and fats. They want you more controllable. When you're not properly nourished, your brain doesn't function well. That's what they want. They want that, and they want the one. And further than that, they want the unworthy to die. And what do you think? What do you think all the you know who the unworthy are? It's anybody that's not them. What do you think all the experimental drug stuff is about? But I submit to you that when the whole system goes down, and eventually it will, I do believe, we're going to be doing back alley bartering, like for our goods that we can't buy anymore. We're going to do the back alley bartering like drug deals in Chicago, like criminals, just to get what we need without the prying eyes of the overlords. I mean, imagine that. But you got to know who to go to first. You know, for instance, you know, the guy's got somebody's got a dairy cow. I've got eggs, or I've got hatching eggs that they can have new chicks or a different breed from. And I say, hey, you know, I'll trade a gallon of your raw milk for, you know, so many hatching eggs or so many eating eggs. Can we strike up a partnership here? That kind of thing. You're going to have to do that. But in the future, you'll have no right to decide what to put in your mouth or what to keep out of your body. I mean, we did see that on the push to inject yourself with experimental drugs against your will. You'll have no right to raise your children with your own values, to control any aspect of your existence in the New World Order. You just won't have any control. And when digital currency, they can control everything you do. They can follow you you'll have a digital trail that they can follow. Your family and friends are going to turn you in for whatever the government makes illegal if it benefits them. Of course, Scripture predicted that would happen, you know. Son against father, mother against daughter, friend against friend. People you never dreamed would turn on you will turn on you for their own survival, especially if they haven't prepared for their own survival. Because fear changes people. But for believers, though, Scripture says, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Memorize that, say it, take it into yourself, hold it to your heart. God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. use your power. Focus. Draw your perimeter and your thoughts back inward to your smaller world. All that out there, that's not your world. Secure it. Secure your world. It's going to be bombarded by outside forces, worse than it is now. You know, you can know what's happening out there. You need to know what's happening out there. Of course you do. But you've got to have perspective. And that's what I coined a long time ago, the snow globe effect. Hold that world. Think of a snow globe. Hold that world in your hand. You got the little towns. You got everything swirling around in this little town. But it's in your hand, and you can put it out here, and you can look at it, and you can see it from the God's eye view, so to speak, from up above, and you can see it as a whole. All the aspects of destruction swirling around in the globe, but it's out there, and you imagine yourself outside of that. Get ready to live apart from that. It's the only way that you're going to survive. Those who can do that will survive. They may even thrive. And those who can't do that, who panic, who are frozen in inertia because of all the stuff hitting them, and they can't focus and calm themselves and get hold of their fear. Those who frozen, not knowing which way to turn, those are the ones that won't survive. So that's what I want to say today. And I hope there was something helpful in there for you. And it's been less than 17 minutes, so I'm going to quit. How about that? Have a good day, everybody. Take care. Remember, take your power back. Remember to love your family and use that sound mind you've got. Bye.